It's about you. Because I know that the easiest thing to do is either to change somebody else than to change you. It's either to change somebody else than to change you. It's either to change somebody else than to change you. So let's look at the first mindset. First mindset. What can we say? What can we say? This is an ability to let go of the past and latch on to the future. Remember, when we talked about antagonist mindset, what was one word I pointed out to you? I pointed out the word to you. The past. Give it repetition of current experiences. The past. If you find a way to live above the past, whether past failures or successes, the past is past. The past is past. There is better. There is a future. There is a future to hold on to. There's a future to hold on to. So, learning to move on. Now, next slide. One of the things, we can hurt ourselves so much when we are consistently looking back, trying to change some things, trying to correct some things. Sometimes we call it making it up. But time machines don't exist. You can't go back in time. You can't reverse the time. So what you have right now is the best you can have. Because honestly, none of us here is ever started on the future. Right? So the best thing you can do to yourself is just move on. So whatever I think has happened, it has happened. This is one thing I practice a lot, and I know, and this is how it helps me. I'll explain to you, this is how it helps me. So one of the times, it looks like it looks like it doesn't relate, but I'll help you understand. So one of the times I planned my day the night before. It was a Saturday. So I planned out, okay, this time my Sunday is going to go. I will do this, I will do that, I will do this, I will do that. I'm going to work on this one here, work on that one there. I really set it out. And the time I was meant to wake up, I was going to do these things was 5 a.m. So I woke up by 6 a.m. and guess what? I was like, oh my God, Timothy, what is wrong with you? But maybe I said, stop. Stop. I think that's what I was saying. I'm in control. I'm in control. I really said that. And what did I do after that? I now planned from when I woke up. And guess what? I stepped into my day with joy. If I beat myself and I got what has happened, I'll spell the rest of what's ahead. Guess what? I'll go in wrongly. I'm having issues with people. I won't do my work well. Anyone wants to see me that day, I'm just be upset. So, something about letting go of the past frees you to enjoy the blessings of the present and the promises of the future. Letting go of the past frees you, alright, and it helps you enjoy the blessings of the present and the promises of the future. So you can take what you have right now and, look at this. Next slide. Can we read it together? Read that again. Now, the next slide. This is what we'll do instead. Read it. Go back to the previous slide. So, what we ought to do is forgive the past, hold on to the present, and believe the future. Instead of holding on to the past. So we forget the present. Now, there are a lot of people who live in the past. So the experiences you are having, how you are reacting to things is because of what you have experienced. So you are holding on to previous experiences, previous circumstances. Oh, you were caused by this person. Oh, this person did this to you. Oh, this thing happened at that time. So you are living as a product. Your current life is a copycat of. You're just regurgitating. And this is, I'm going to give an example in terms of relationship. This is what affects people who have multiple relationships. So you get into another relationship, and guess what? That one spoils because you regurgitate the errors of the past. So and guess what? Maybe also the mindset. Oh, or maybe because this guy wasn't a good guy, so now you are relating with this good person, but with the mindset of the past. One thing you must learn to do is to forgive the past. Hold on to the present, enjoy the present, and live in the future. You know, a popular statement goes to us. It says, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why it's called what? Present. So think about it. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why it's called present. And I looked at time. You don't have control over the past, neither do you have control over the future. The only time you have control over is now. So you have no business with the past anymore. You can look to the past and then pick up some lessons of what you will do now, but then not live as a product of previous experiences. It hurts a lot and it deprives you of benefits. It does. It does. Now, quickly, I'm sure now we can already just think about some things that are this. If you check the second check, you find out that there's something in the past that's causing you to respond that way. So one thing you must start, if you live that excellent life and life of purpose, it is being able to move on. Move on. Even in, I'm not talking about even in big things, but even in smaller things. Ability to move on from offenses, to move on from mistakes. Now, for example, now, you made a mistake, you beat yourself, right? Oh, Paul, why? You should have not done that. Oh, shit. And then you stay there. One day I tell myself, if it has been done, it can't be undone. If it has been done, it can't be undone. And that statement reminds me to take action. So I'll ask, okay, so what next? That's why I don't like it when you come and you go over it again and again and again. If it has been done, let's move on. So what do we do next? What's the next thing? If you're always asking yourself that, okay, what's the next thing? You will not hurt much. You won't. So, okay, what's the next thing? Oh, I made a mistake. That's fine. People make mistakes. Not the best to make some kind of mistake. So, what next? What can I do? So, that ability to move on is very necessary. It's a mindset to have, a mindset that quickly moves on. Alright? Number two mindset we should have is ignore ignorance. Ignore ignorance. Ignore ignorance. That is, don't let go of ignorance. Do not be a party to it. Whenever you don't know, will haunt you. Example. I'm sure all of us, I pray, I hope all of us have changed. But then, when you were young, and then you were in the room, and there was no light. That's when your creativity is sharp. You just see one thing hanging on the door. In your mind, like, that's a cobra, and he has a lion head. And then he's looking at me, and then the tail looks like the tongue of the chameleon. So you have these strange ideas. Guess what? Because you don't know. So that ignorance becomes a pointer, a source of fear. Many people's fear, I had a session one time when I talked about fear. I think I want to call it, I'll just call it fear demystified. Because there is actually a walk into it. So ignore ignorance. I want you to be that person who doesn't like to be ignorant. Doesn't like to be ignorant. Doesn't like to stay ignorant on whatever. You find out that there's something you're not aware of. Okay, now go and search about it. Okay, what do I do? How do I handle this? How do I work at that? Ignore ignorance. So let's look at this. There was an elephant, and then there were 6 blind men. 6 blind men. They're all blind. Now, that's already a disadvantage. So they were all around this elephant, and each of them were touching different parts of the elephant. So, if the guy is blind, remember, he doesn't know this is the only place he has access to. So he touches the trunk of the elephant and says, oh, this looks like a snake. I'm feeling it looks like a snake. And then it says, this must be a snake. Now, he calls the entire animal a snake. This guy touches the leg of the elephant and says, oh, you are around a tree. They're around the tree. And he believes that, yes, they're around the tree. Now, one of them, this guy touches the ear, this guy touches the leg, this guy touches the ear, and says, oh, this must be a fan. This must be a fan. So he believes that what they are around is a fan. Now, this guy comes to the table, and then he thinks that everybody is holding a rope. We're all holding a rope. Alright? And all of them, the reference to having different descriptions of this guy touches the body of the elephant and says, oh, by front of a wall. Is any of them correct? Why? They're all blind. That's exactly what ignorance is like. So, if you approach situations in ignorance, you interpret wrongly. If you approach situations in ignorance, you will interpret wrongly. You will. They will leave that place now fully confident. Oh wow, we went to visit we went to touch a giant's ear. So this guy goes back to his family. Where were you with your friends? Oh, we were playing tug of war because we were holding a rope. Another example. I was in my mom's office one time. At that time, we had rabbits in the room. So there was just one of them that was there. Initially, there were 3. So some kids came to the back, and then kids are always very excited about it. So they saw the rabbits, and then they said, there were 3 before. What happened to them? One of them now stood up as though he just started talking so confidently. He said, you know what happened to the rabbits? One of them, they have killed it and they ate it. They use it for layer. They use it for layer. And the other one, he said, he gave another thing. I didn't even know what he said. This guy spoke so confidently, and none of the things he said was true. And guess what? All of them there, that's what they will know about the rabbits. They ask them about those rabbits, they will regurgitate it. See, in the same way, there are many things you have been told that are not original truth, that you will have to be intentional to go back and research and check for yourself, including who you are. You've been defined. When you are growing, it says, oh, you are like this, they've treated you this way. And then so you got to see yourself like that. One thing you must do is not to be ignorant. Never allow ignorance. Because your area of ignorance is your weak point. On any matter, on any subject matter, your area of ignorance is your weak point. Ignore ignorance. Now, just like I was saying, next time, your current limitation is a product of what you don't know. Can we all read that together loud and clear? Can we say that again? What you don't know will limit you. It will. It will. Current limitation is a product. So whatever it is that you are struggling with right now, check it. Knowledge is attached to it. There is something you don't know yet. Yes. Whatever it is that issues with. I love it so much, and there are 2 books that he made. You know what is it? Well, this is my papa. Alright, so it says, what you don't know, what you would need, and suffer for. I thought about it over and again, and it told me a desire to go after knowledge. I found out that it was by knowledge. If you know, it's just like light bulb in a room. Darkness will have to leave. So go after knowledge. On that idea, on that vision, start searching, start questing, start reading, ask questions. Because what you don't know, you don't know. So don't go with common sense knowledge. Go and check, okay, what has been done? How did it go? And go after original truth. Just like, for example now, those rabbits, that's not original truth. That is what someone said by his own comprehension. Original truth says, go back and ask the person who put it. What happened to these rabbits? There are many things we need to go back and question. That the answers you will find, you feel like these guys have cheated me a long time. You know, there were times they think the light was about. A lot of things the light was about were growing. So, now, 3 knowledge sources. Number one is what? Books from what? Books. If you're here and you're like, oh, I don't like to read. That's a big challenge. And it's a challenge you must overcome. It's a challenge you must, like by all means, you must. You must. This is what made me desire reading or to love to read books is this. I thought about it. Somebody has gone through this thing I'm going through, and then they chose to document their lives and their processes in a book. So why don't I read it? Someone has gone through what I'm going through. They thought it means to document their life in a book. So why don't I read it? Why? So why would you read it? You're struggling with that subject area, and someone has written a book on it with solutions. So why don't you read it? So it's important. Number 2 is YouTube. Spend time, just go and check on those videos. Just stream them, check them through, and then Google. Nothing is Google is your friend. So just search. But then one thing I want to show you is the most authentic, and which is where we get original truth from, which is this. And aside from being a religious book, this is a book that holds many principles from which many contemporary, should I say, many other subject matters coin their principles from this book. All the principles of finances, you can find them in the Bible. All the things that talk about, if you are struggling with, whatever it is you're struggling with, you get original truth from here. And primarily because that's where you came from. That's a manual. If I'm struggling with my device, I don't take time. I just gonna bring the manual and check. How should I do this? What do I correct? And I know what to do. That's exactly what we have. And go and correct some things. Now, if you don't learn to ask questions, you do not deserve to have answers. You don't learn to ask questions, you don't deserve answers. If you're not getting answers, you're not asking questions. You feel like you're asking questions, you're not getting answers, you're not asking the right questions. If you don't ask questions, you don't deserve answers. So start asking. Start asking. Start asking. Alright? Start asking. And the third mindset that I want us to take upon ourselves is nearsightedness. Alright? Nearsightedness. Nearsightedness. I want to talk about nearsightedness. What we are referencing is vision. What we are referencing is vision. Nearsightedness talk about something that is close to you, but it's at a distance. No one can see it, but you see it, and that is driving you. Although it's at a distance, but you see it. So there's something near to you. There's something so close to you. Listen, anybody who is living without nearsightedness is like a ship set to sail without a direction, without a captain. It will end up nowhere, to be lost in the middle of the sea. Another thing vision does is that it's also like that anchor that keeps you at the harbor, that keeps you in place. That even if the tides are moving, you are there because you know this is where you should be. Nearsightedness. As a person, you must not live your life without something taunting you, something driving you, something calling for you. It's necessary. Nearsightedness. Now, put this up. Your mind is goal-oriented. And that means that if you do not have a clear direction of where you are headed, you end up anywhere and you have no one to blame. Your mind is goal-oriented. I practice this a lot of times maybe from 400 level. A lot of times that's in 2022. A lot of times, just giving goals to your mind is so goal-oriented. If you want to really excel in accomplishing things, start with visions, with goals that you put down. Do you know what I found out? I found out that the mere action of putting down those goals, you're giving an assignment to your mind, to yourself. And I realized that there was one time I checked back, I'd done some things, and I went back to my book where I write down some of my visions, and I looked, and I said, oh my God, I've done these things. And I did them even without the consciousness that I'm doing it because I wrote it. That's the power. So you give direction to your mind, you give direction to your life with goals. You know you can't just do anything, you can't just be anywhere. There's something that wakes you up, that keeps you awake. So because there's a goal, there's a vision. There's a vision. your mind is goal-oriented. If you want to take advantage of that thing called the mind, set goals, set visions, see them, put them somewhere, write them in different places. Now, just like the example, like the ship without the sail, without the captain, you just end up in the middle of anywhere. And the thing is, you settle for less. You just settle for anything. Why? Because there's no definition. There's no definition. So what I want us to do after we leave here, define your life. Define. Give definition to your coordinates. Are you going west? Are you going south? And if it's south, you are going, go south. Even if you see some people coming from the south heading to the north, don't turn back and go north. Go south. Give vision. Something happened to me one time. I was walking back from the cafeteria, and then I was just walking. Eventually, I found myself in the hall, in the office. I said, wait, how did I even get here? I didn't even remember anything I saw on the road. I didn't remember anything. I just walked. All I knew was I was walking. I was lost in thought. I was just walking, and I was actually going to the office. So I set 2 things: current place, CAF, destination, office, and the body did the rest. That's something I call next like mental blocking. Mental blocking. So it shocked me so much. I was so shocked about it. I didn't remember anything I saw on the road. But I was just walking and I got to where I was going to because I'm giving direction. So it's the same thing. Listen, don't think that no matter how big those visions are, write them down. Now you are giving direction. What begins to happen to you is that your mind begins to direct your vessel. Remember, we said the mind is what? Driver. So it gives direction to your vessel. You find out that you come in contact with the right resources. You come in contact with the right people. You have some opportunities. First, because you have adopted it in your mind. Mental blocking. Mental blocking. Just give your mind that assignment. Just write it down. Maybe this year you've not had visions. Now I think it's time to do that. You start, okay, after the vision, this is what I'm going to do. Just write it down. That's what you need to do. It begins to push you to the accomplishment of that thing. That's what you need to do. Mental blocking. That vision, for example, just get the picture of that thing you desire. I did it a lot. Let me give you a close example. I've done it to show you that it works. Principles are principles, all right? They work. So first off, I needed an iPhone. So what did I do? The first thing was to adopt the possibility of it. So I put the picture as my screensaver, put it as my chat wallpaper, put it anywhere I could have consistent sites. And then so that way I just give direction to my mind on how to get it. However it's going to happen, that's not my concern. Mine is to give direction. And eventually it happened. And when I saw that, this thing works, I hit it again. My iPad got broken. And then so I need another one. What did I do? Same thing. Get picture of my iPad, put it everywhere, screensaver, chat background, everything. My hope was that, okay, eventually I'll get to the great, but not my money. But eventually I got a new one. So when it didn't dawn on me until after some time when I realized, wait, I actually didn't put it as my wallpaper. So that's it. Now I'm using very little things. So you don't just think that, okay, it's only when you start practicing with these smaller things, it helps. Another thing I did was that with my results, I edited my results in school. I edited it to look like I made it look like how my results would look like on the portal. And I put what I wanted. I just wrote down it, edited it on Excel sheets. You would think that's a covenant results. I put it there like that way. And I paste it on the wall. Paste on my cupboard. Paste it, these are my screensaver. What began to happen to me after I saw it, I knew that, okay, this is what we are looking for. I just began to give direction. And at the time, my final results, what I had calculated my final result was going to be, I was a distance away from it. What's a distance? Distance. Mental blocking. So start practicing that. Don't just assume that, okay, write it down. Give direction to your vessel. Just give direction. And then everything just begins to follow. Everything. Mental blocking. Being purposeful and visionary works like hypnosis. It works like hypnosis. You are giving direction to your vessel. You all know what it is. That's the slide I showed us. Hypnosis. Like you just lock yourself in that position, and then you're just going to get the right things done. Now, number 4 mindset. What's number 1 mindset? How many hold that? What's number 2? And what's number 3? Now, number 4, doubt your doubt. This talks about possibility thinking. Doubt your doubt. That doubt it. Doubt that doubt is possible. Doubt your doubt. The story of these guys, the Wright brothers, Emil and Rubo. Come to think of it, before then, nothing had ever flown in the sky. Now, this takes us that ingenuity. It hasn't been done before. Flight, you've never seen anything fly in the sky, and then you just wake up and an idea comes to your mind. Can we fly in the sky like birds? The reason why it's not straight to you now because we're already seeing it. It's the same way someone thought, okay, I want to reach out to somebody in America. So there were so many disconnected, but they kept on doing it. Even though the first flight flew for only about 80 or 50 seconds, but that was progress. That's why we have Boeing 737. That's why we have many other flights. So the same thing also, if you learn to start doubting those doubts, when those doubts come to your mind, doubt them too. Look at the doubts, and I doubt you too. Yes. Your doubts come and tell you, I doubt you can do it, and you too, I doubt you can do it too. So, and one way to do this, I won't just leave you, is this. Number 1, accept the possibility of the vision first. Accept it, just receive it. Before you begin to process anything, accept that it's possible. Maybe not by you first, but accept that it's possible. And secondly, find what? Find what?
Elizabeth.
I'll explain to you. When the angel of the Lord called Mary, and they told Mary, you're going to be pregnant, but you're not going to sleep with a man. First off, that has never happened. Alright? You're not going to sleep with a man. You're going to conceive a child by the Holy Ghost. Please, really visualize the thing. It hasn't happened before. So it's not like, oh, now if it happens again, you might say, okay, it has happened in the Bible before. But it hasn't happened before. And then Mary says, how shall these things be? Valid question. And it says, the Holy Ghost will overshadow you, and this and this and that and that. And then the next thing the angel told her, he says, go and meet Elizabeth. Who is Elizabeth? Elizabeth is a person who is carrying your vision. So Elizabeth also was with John the Baptist, a child by miraculous birth. So when she would go to meet Elizabeth, when she got to meet her, what happened? There was a communication. It leaped in her womb and says, oh wow, so we also carry a miracle. So one thing he was meant to do, and that's what happened to them. They were encouragements to themselves, Wilbur and Ovi. So find Elizabeth, find those who carry, who stir that vision in you. Find those people who inspire that thing in you. Those people who challenge you. Find those people who sort of, they kind of draw out that thing from you. They are not people who quench that passion, rather, they raise it up. Find Elizabeth. That's how you develop possibility thinking. That's how. That's how. And the third thing is what I call a 100-meter dash. The 100-meter dash, I don't know if it's the shortest, but a 100-meter dash is very fast. Very fast. Just it's not a long distance. So what that means are smaller things, smaller accomplishments. Do you know having a to-do list can change your life? When you have a to-do list and you check every single thing, that's a step towards possibility thinking. Because now you are accomplishing things. You look at something small, not something so large and big, but even smaller things. You look at them and say, okay, let's do this one. Smaller things, 100-meter dashes. So you've done that one, get another one again. Something like, okay, finish 20 pages of this book. You see, there's something that happens to every human being when we accomplish things. There is a sense of fulfillment. Another thing is there's a sense of control. You feel like you have control over your life. When you say, I'm going to start something, and you finish it, that's a big deal. You know, one thing this meeting will do for me is it will make me know that I can do it again. I can do it again. I can. And maybe even in a better way, a bigger way, I can. So, more than anything, you must learn to those smaller things. Those smaller things. Like you say, okay, send 5,000 to this person on a monthly basis. And you're doing that and you're keeping at it. Even something as wake up every day by this time and have this thing. So all those things have a framing in you, a possibility mindset. 100 meter dash. Never forget it. 100 meter dash. 100 meter dash. So what's going to be 100 meter dash? What are some things? Think of it. I want you to write that down. What's going to be 100 meter dash? I know you have a marathon to run. That's your purpose. You do that for life. But what are the things? What are 100 meter dashes you can run? What are those small things, so smaller things this year? I'm talking about next year. My name will be next month. 100 meter dash. What are you doing? What's going to be 100 meter dash? I want to hear about 200 people. What's going to be 100 meter dash? Anybody? What are you setting as your 100 meter dash? It may not even be something serious or really related to purpose as a way, but something you're just going to, you will do this. There's something that happens to you every time you say, I did it. Okay?
My moving forward is ensure that on my space or my status, my space, ensure that I'm dealing with it with my to-do list moving forward. Encourage inspire
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So every single day, inspire someone, some way, somehow, encourage someone in the word of encouragement. Every day. Okay? I want to hear someone else.
There's so much in my mind that I want to give to. So I think that's the next. I want to do that and be like, I did it.
That's good. Alright? Any other person? Just one more. What's your 100 meter dash? One more. What's going to be 100 meter dash? I want to hear one more. Alright, but I believe you've written that down, right? Alright. Let's look at this quickly. I'll run through this. 10 commandments of possibility thinking. Listen as I read. Alright? 10 commandments of possibility thinking. And this is by Robert Schuller. If you have not read that book, Top Time Never Last and Top 2 I highly recommend that you read that book. Alright? So Robert Schuller gave us this. Never reject an idea because you see something wrong with it. What did I say? That you see something wrong with it doesn't mean that it's not an idea worth doing. When you talk about airplanes, there are certain things that need to be factored in. The factor of propelling, the factor of controlling, and the factor of taking off. So you have to consider how the plane will take off. You have to consider how it will be sustained in the sky. So that's another challenge. It's an idea first, oh, you want to fly in the sky, but now there's a problem. How? So never reject an idea because you see something wrong with it. Number two, never reject an idea because you won't get the credit. But because I don't say, oh, you should have did it, you now say, oh, it doesn't matter anymore. No. Number three, never reject an idea because it's impossible. You know, one thing that causes for us to think impossibility is based on what we have seen. That it hasn't been done doesn't mean that it can't be done. Did you hear what I said? That it hasn't been done doesn't mean what it can't be done. Number four, never reject an idea because your mind is made up. Never reject an idea because it's illegal. And that is talking about, I'm not advocating for doing this here, so let me clarify that. But I mean by illegal is that, so say, these days, so you can't do this certain kind of things, maybe there's some policy restriction, and you genuinely know that if you do this thing, it's for the benefit of everyone. Go ahead. It's something he taught me. He said, he called it necessary revolt. Necessary revolt. And that was the time when in school, they placed the man on champion TV. And even our guy also was in the corporate, but in disguise. So he said necessary revolt. This is a need. It's needed. These people need it. So that's an idea. So now I will not trash that because a policy came. I know that this will benefit. Now, there's a balance to it. I'm not guessing that you now become a program disobeying law and at all. But then just thinking through that idea and going ahead with it if you know that the accomplishment of it will lead to the benefit of all. Number 6, never neglect an idea because you don't have the money, manpower, or muscle to achieve it. Don't do that. Conceive it first, it's going to happen. Never reject an idea because it causes conflict. Because someone doesn't like it, because it might not sit well with every other person, doesn't mean you should reject it. Number 7, never reject an idea because it's not your way of doing things. Because it's not your way of doing things. Never reject an idea because it might fail. Never reject an idea because it's sure to succeed. That is, you can be overconfident and think that, okay, it's going to be fine, I can do it, so there's nothing wrong with it. No, don't do that. So I don't have to, it's too easy, look for something else. Still get it done. Still get it done. Alright? So these are the things, you go through this, you realize that now you find one of those things that you have been disobeying. Alright? Okay. Mindset 5 is sieve and sink. Sieve and sink. Almost done. Sieve and sink. Now, this talks about your ability to control emotions. And I mentioned something that it's easier to change yourself than to change someone. Do you agree with that? It's easier. This is what I mean. Okay. If Sir Goodness is standing in my way, and I'm saying, oh, please excuse me, and he's not answering me. Please excuse me, and he's not answering me. Which is easier, to convince him to leave or to just move by the side and take another route? Which is easier? That's what about it. Thank you, sir. Because we oftentimes subject ourselves to the decisions and the works and the actions of others. And that's what I put in next time. If your heart is because you choose to. If your heart is because you choose to. It may seem very insensitive, but that's the truth. It's not you see, getting out might be out of your power, but staying hot is absolutely up to you. Absolutely dependent on you. So an ability to sieve, you know what a sieve does? You know in your sink, there's a sieve and it's the sink. So, but in the sink, there are things that should not go in. So that's why the sieve is there. So I'm talking about emotional intelligence here. An ability to separate the chaff from the wheat. So whenever anyone does anything to you, there's a sieve. You just let the good go in and take out the bad and toss it. You're not allowing someone's offense or someone's mistakes to ruin your life. No, your ability to sieve and then sink. In the words of the person, take what helps and leave what hurts. Take what helps and leave what hurts. This is very important when it comes to mastering relationships, because there are a lot of people who are struggling with relationships. And you know what I said earlier on? The four most important things in life: God, family, good relationships. Very important and real. So next time, a teacher told her students to go get something. She wanted to teach them something. So she told them, write down the name of everybody that you are offended towards. Everyone that hurts you, that you're angry at. And then they were writing. And then she told them, when you're coming to school tomorrow, come with a tomato to represent each of them. So some of them came with 2, some came with 3, some came with 5. He came with 10. This guy came with a bag. So they all came and they were excited. These are the people I'm offended now. People that are my blacklist. So she told them, okay, that's fine. They brought it to class. And then when it was time to go, she told them to take it, bring back tomorrow. So they went, brought it back the next day. And then the next day. And then the next day. And all of them started complaining. This thing is rotten, it's smelling, it's bad, it's not comfortable. It's alright. She said, no, it's fine, just come with it again. Came with it again until the 7th day. And the company said, no, we can't do it again. And then she told them, that's exactly how it is when you carry offense in your heart. It's like rotten tomatoes. You smell. So you are carrying those thoughts. It's heavy, it's uncomfortable, yet you choose to be subjected to it. Never, like I said, it might be out of your power to be hurt, but it's absolutely up to you to stay hurt. Completely up to you to stay hurt. Completely. One of the things I'm trying to learn to do is to be forgiving without an apology. Without an apology. Okay, when I say I'm sorry, that can pacify you. What if I never get to say I'm sorry? You just get offended still. So learning this is so important. It will free your mind. Learning to say, even without getting that, just living that free life. Alright? That free life. Before I go to the next thing, if there's anybody right now that you feel like you're offended towards, I'm not actually asking you to just forgive them. No. What I'm telling you to do is to set yourself free. That's what I'm saying. Forget about them. Set yourself free. Because the true recipient of forgiveness is you. The person who really receives forgiveness, who receives from forgiveness, is you who forgive. Because there is a peace, there is a relief that comes when you do that. There is. And there are a lot of, it's so easy to carry offense, it's so easy. But then it's also must be very easy for you to let them go. It's too toxic, it shouldn't stay. Sieve and what? Sieve and what? Now, mindset 6. Extra mile. Extra mile. Extra mile. That attitude of taking it further. Taking it further. Taking it further. Please diligence. There's nothing. Please diligence. There's nothing. There's nothing. I was listening to a podcast by Tracy, and then he was giving an example of somebody who was asked, who was talking about, does he believe in luck? He says, oh yes, I believe in luck. He does. And then what did he mean? He says that he works so hard. Because he works so hard, that's why he's lucky. He works so hard, that's why he's lucky. So luck exists actually only to those who are hardworking. So what people call luck is just now some people jump and laughs. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. I think it was also Brian Tracy who defined hard work this way. He says, success rather, he defines success this way. Let's hear one to go. That's how to spell success. That's how to spell success. So it's hard work. There's one time in my meditation I just concluded that success is hard. But guess what? It's possible. Is that true? Is that true? Do you actually believe that? It's possible. It's very possible. Now, some people will be in this position maybe like 2 years time, 3 years time. So, I'm just familiarize myself. So, the only glittering part of success is the results. Every other thing is ordinary. This woman right here only cares about one thing right now. That baby must be out. So nothing else matters in life right now other than the baby. This is exactly the heart and the focus you have if you actually work hard. The only thing that matters is that thing you want to accomplish. She doesn't care who won Big Brother. Right now, that doesn't matter to her. She doesn't care who is trending on Twitter or Snapchat. What matters right now is that baby coming out of our womb. So this is what sponsors hard work. There is something that must be delivered, so we work until we see it. And if this woman gets distracted, she might end up having a miscarriage. Number one, she can have not miscarriage because the baby already come out. She can have a stillbirth. The baby can die in her womb, or eventually she loses strength and they have to cut her open to bring out the baby. But then, if at this point all that matters is until that baby, you first do before you alright? So, hard work is something that many people don't want to do anymore. But I follow the route of people who have gone and I see that that's the only way. That's the only way. If you have results, that's the only way. So the earlier you come to terms with this, the better. That is the only way. It's hard work. I'm not talking about hard work where you are struggling. No, I'm talking about where you are devoted. Like you know what you are looking for and you stay at it. You keep at it. You stay with it. See, don't forget this image. The only thing that matters right now to this woman is that baby coming out. And she will do anything to have that happen. Like I said, the only great thing part of success is the results. Next slide. Is the results. Everything else is wrong. Everything. So it's alright if it's not looking nice. The only beautiful part is the results. The process. Have you seen when they're finding gold? It's not beautiful. All you see is the end result. Have you seen when they're sewing clothes? You're just seeing pieces of clothes everywhere. Now you see someone come out and you see someone like Sally. Regalia. So, hard work. And just as we bring this to a close, the last mindset I want to expose us to, I will not call it the mindset before, this should be the lifestyle. What can we see there? God. What's that? God. One of the scriptures that stand out to me the most is the book of Proverbs 3:5-6. Because the 311 that's light jumped at me. That's when it happened. I mean, it's nice I'm talking about this now and I'm getting that. So, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own words. With all your heart. With all. And do not count on your understanding. Yes, I know you're a smart guy. I know you finished the first class, you finished well. But it says, I know you have understanding, but don't trust it. Trust in the Lord. And maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. The Lord taught me what this trust means. Let's go to the next slide. Let's not do this. This was my experience. 2022, 400 years. No, I always capture these things. I was on a Friday, and I just started feeling nauseous. I was shivering, it's getting cold. I tried my best. I think that I will still reached out. I knew that I still had to go to the medical center. So I passed 9 p.m. as you for call. I went to the medical center, and there were people there. So we were all sitting like this, waiting for the doctor. And then as I was there, the condition was getting worse. I was shivering, I was cold, no fever, I was hot, I was just uncomfortable. But guess what? All of us also were having different issues. But we stayed. We stayed. And this is why we stayed. And that's what the Holy Spirit began to put about. We know that the fact that there is a man sitting in there, it means that he has gone through some processes. He must have gone through at least 7 years of school, must have written certification exams, must have had an interview, and must have been endorsed by the body that put him there. So on the account of that knowledge, I trust that even if I get there, from whatever situation I'm going through, he will help me from that point. As far as I'm there. When I heard that, that gave me a whole different picture of trust. That is trusting, knowing that the person who you are trusting is coming. You know, why I'm ending with this is because life is spiritual. I know we've talked about mindset and all that. Life is spiritual. I've come to that conclusion a long time ago. Life is spiritual. Life is more spiritual than we think. And to explain that to you, you are a spirit. We are all spirits. And the reason why we are going through this is because we have a soul. So what I just explained to you are matters that concern your soul. That is the realm of your intelligence, your mindset, your will, your emotions. But there's a realm that transcends beyond that. That if you understand that, you can superimpose the perfection of that on the imperfection of your soul. There is perfection in the realm of the spirit, and then by your understanding of your relationship with the Lord, you can impose that on the imperfection of the soul. That is why I find it hard to tie or to talk about personal development without connecting it to some form of spirituality. Without doing that, it's not just possible. Because it can't be separated. It can't. So if, that's why you will not hear me use some psychological terms. I know some. I follow a lot of people, I've read some things, I've understood some things, applied some things, but I won't come to give you that. If someone asks me, I'm talking something about an addiction. I've had a number. Talking about an addiction, who are struggling with this addiction, somewhere around this. The first thing I try to do, I'll talk to you about, what to do, pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to triggers, pay attention to the people around you, the kind of songs you listen to, and watch out for contents that you consume, and then. But after all that is said and done, I know that the real problem is not that. That's not the real problem. What led you into that action first is because there was a craving from your soul desired something. Your soul wanted something, and it seemed like that action offered it for some time. So when you received that, you felt like, okay, so I can get it from here. For example, someone struggling with, when you were growing up, struggling with depression. So you found out that you could interact with people that were not human beings, and in that realm, you are the king, you are the one who decides. And then so you began to engage in all those illicit acts, watching all those things. And so you found company with those people that you never would see physically. So you don't have to please them, you don't have to be a good person. So the problem is not really the addiction, it's what you are looking for. So that's why whenever people come to me like that, I don't just talk about all those things, because you can apply that. Good. There was one of them women that I told him some things, I explained some things, but it wasn't making any way. I said, see, come, let me now. It's just like at the time the young rich man came to ask Jesus, what can I do this, that? I just gave him, well, this one. And I said, I said, yeah, come. Now you've come to the end of it. That's why I will always come back to this. Trust. Because when that happens, you experience the. I believe, and definitely, God is interested in personal development. He is. And it's kind of all through scriptures. We see that happen. We see it. We see how He's intentionally trying to shift the minds, shift the patterns of thinking of different people. The same thing also, He wants to achieve that with you, but it's in partnership. That's why I can end with this. Trust God. Trust in-depthly, really. Not with a part, with all. Don't forget that Bible verse. With all. Checking through. With all, everything. Do not build it outside, build it in Him. Trust. It's very necessary. So, just like I was in the doctor's office, I would like to charge you saying that beyond and above every and anything, your number one audience should be God. The fact that every one of us sitting here, every one of us sitting here, we've given ourselves to this cause. Live in consciousness of the fact that His decisions, His opinions, and what He says is what matters most. So that causes you to change some things. The reason why I want to be a better person is because I know God doesn't want me bad. So that's why I have to correct that character. I have to correct this mindset. I have to change that approach. I call it having a motivation greater than yourself. That's what I call it. Have a motivation greater than yourself. What will motivate you to go back and apply these things? Because you remember, there is someone that will. there's demands on you. So, but if it's left to you, you can choose, waste my life. I'm fine. But then when you remember that there is demands, it causes you to take the extra step to correct some things. Alright? Alright? Alright?
Yes, sir.
Does this mean anything to you? Does this mean anything to you? So, just before we come to this, I would like to do this. I would like us to first, if you can, alright, if you can, check out for some things that you feel like are restrictive. Check out for some things within you that feel like it's a struggle to get this over with. And I want you to trust God that is obstacles. I want you to trust God with that obstacles. Sometimes it feels like, oh, should we end it? But I've always had in mind that we should end this way. I want you to trust God with that. So you want to practice this here and now. Like say, okay, this is a mindset that I want to let go of. I trust you with it. Right? So let's do that. Right? Let's do it. I trust you with this mindset, this one. I know that it's something you might take a while, but I've tried before. I have. I've tried to let go, I've tried to do something about this, but I know it's still there. And even while the teaching was going on, it was glaring at you. Now you want to say, I trust you with it. I trust you with it. So you find out that it begins to bring you out of some things. Maybe what you can do is to expose you to another circle of friends. Or sometimes you can go as far as changing your location. That's trusting God. Just like in the doctor's office. It's like, it's Him. It's the one that matters. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Alright, it's good we did that. It's good we did that. So, with all that being said, I'm looking forward to your metamorphosis. Right? I'm looking forward to you applying these things and putting them to work and really looking out for the changes. So just like we went through the 4 stages of metamorphosis, like you can know where you are and then begin to correct, begin to take the necessary measures. Alright? Have we learned anything today?
Yes, sir.
Have we learned anything today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so anything on your mind? Anything on your mind? Anything? Question? What's on your mind? What's on your mind? Say the question, what's on your mind? Just like Facebook will ask you, that's why I do that. This is what's in your mind. What's in your mind? Question? Or alright? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so I know procrastination is one of the things that actually cause failure, because they used to say if you did not plan to, I don't know how they say the code. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Yes. Okay, so I want to ask: are there ways to deal with procrastination? Because I must say I procrastinate a lot and it affects me. So I want to know if there are ways to tackle procrastination. Thank you.
Okay. Obviously, there are ways. But the most important, right? Most important is, aside from all the systems and structures, I say everyone is listening because like no one's now to all of us are having the same. Alright. So apart from the systems and structures and all that, is the mindset you can have. And this is it. Keep this in your heart. Don't keep till tomorrow what you can do today. Don't keep till tomorrow what you can do today. So, what does that mean? In the mind of a procrastinator, time, the concept of time is what? In the mind of the chief procrastinator, the concept of time is what? And this is what I mean. So you believe that there is time. I'll do later. Like you believe there's time. Like there's always that imagination that time is moving.
So it's really an understanding of. It's really an understanding of time and the value of it. And the value of it. So beyond all the systems, because whenever if you build a system around the wrong mindset, eventually you stay trapped in that mindset. But then if you build a system around the right mindset, you flourish in it. So the mindset is regarding time, understanding time. When you look at time and you really understand the concept of it, you realize that it's a commodity that's available to you, but it's not infinite. Another thing to think about is this, that with the increase, or rather with the progression of time, is a decline in the opportunities that you can have. And this is what I mean. Because as you grow, strength reduces, number one. Attention also reduces. Because the amount of things you can give attention to reduce. So it means that the earlier you can do these things now, the better. That's looking at it in a grand scale. But now focusing on all that smaller things, you are thinking, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to use too many. I want to make it very simple, understandable. The approach you give to it is from you thinking now, this being done now would create more time to do another then. But then, if this is not done now, then you shift it to what you should do. You shift it to a time another thing should be done. So it means that that thing to be done will be done at another time. So it's like a dominoes. You all know what dominoes are like. That thing that goes forwards like that. So that's what happens. That's what happens. I'm giving you the maths. I'm going to give you systems and things that can help you. But then just to give you an understanding of time, you also have 24 hours. And then the longer you wait, the more things you are losing, more opportunities you are losing. So that's what I'm saying. Now, to apply systems, one thing you can do is a to-do list. For example, if you have a list of things to get done, that already creates in you a sense of direction and purpose. That there are things to be done. And then you have 24 hours to get them done. Let me say 18 hours because you spend like 6 hours and leave 6 hours sleeping. So you have 18 hours to get these things done. So you have a list of items. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. Welcome, sir. Excuse me. So I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. So now you have those things in order. So now it creates in you a sense of direction, and then you are taking those things one after the other and getting some things done. So many times when you procrastinate, it's because you have lost the comprehension of how much you should have to do. You have. Do we understand what I just said? You've lost the comprehension of how much you have to do. You have. Many times when I find myself procrastinating, it's because I've forgotten that, there is much to be done. There is this to do. So I just think that, I have one thing because I'm engrossed in maybe I want to finish that movie. I want to play that game. So I've lost the comprehension that there is much to do. There is still more. So keeping also that, you should go back to and look at, there's this to do. There's that to do. That can help. Another thing also is accountability. So tell somebody about what you need to do. Okay, I want to do this, so just call me by this time and to check on if I've done it. And this is why I usually would not recommend, this is what I usually say when I talk about accountability. Accountability only works when you are being held accountable for what you hold value. If I'm holding you accountable for what you don't cherish as valuable, it will seem like compulsion and I become oppressed. So it still boils down on your integrity to get done what you need to get done. So why you are taking accountability is because you want to stay true to your character. So it still boils down on that mindset where you understand that you don't have as much time as you think and you have as much tasks to do in the short time that you have. That mindset, you develop it more, you begin to see and know it. And the last thing I can tell you to do is this. Think about the fulfillment that comes. Fulfillment is a great thing. And in the world of psychology, or let's say in biology, it is the work of endorphins. Your happy hormones. Endorphins, happy hormones. Your hormones that tell you that, when you've done something nice, like you're happy about it, you're excited, you're fulfilled. So that fulfillment, trust me, if you If you hold on to it and you're really interested in always experiencing that, that will spoil you to get things done. Because every time you get them done, there is that feeling coming from you again. Alright? Is that question answered? Alright. So any other thing? Any other questions? No, I can see very few people here. It's good to have you guys. Alright, so any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? What's in your mind? Alright? What's in your mind? What's in your mind? What's in your mind? What's in your mind? Okay.
So, hi everyone. So we're talking about this outside, and for me, I just want to say that it's been such an amazing time today. One of the things we're talking about outside is how applicable the things that Sir Timothy has shared with us today is on every single one of them. So I have, for example, listened to a lot of speakers, and there is always a gap between the knowledge and distilling it to everyday living, right? So for example, you're giving concepts, theories, biologicals, psychology terms that you have no business knowing about, right? But then the way he has broken everything down and how you can apply it in everyday living is something that I'm truly grateful for, right? And I'm sure we're all grateful for, right? And so if for example you're to go outside and ask what you learned, I'm sure you'll be able to remember one thing. Maybe not the terminology, but an application of it, right? Maybe not the concept, but how it can be applied. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Alright, so I'm so happy that we get to have this. Right, we get that. If you listen to the audio and you felt like, oh, this is really nice. This is really nice. I feel like there will even be a greater sense of excitement if you get to listen to the person who started it, right? Who started it? So I want us to get to it. It's a real privilege for me, and I'm really excited about it. Every single time spent was always worth it because there will always be a light bulb moment. What to do, what next to do and get done. Every single time. So I want us to call Samuel. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What you guys put me on the spot? I would like to say I was not meant to speak. It's only give it to me. This is not my real face. So. How's it, everybody? How many hours have you spent thus far? 4. I hope it was valuable for you. I hope it was valuable for you. I know being there why now. Just had a different program. Right. Quick conversation I want us to have within the next 5-10 minutes. I think it's quite important. I wish is this board a paradise? It's a paradise. You can't really come from I have a philosophy that every time people go for a lot of knowledge events like this, people don't do, right? So one of the reasons why sometimes I'm ready to go for events, because I'm not sure I have the room who's going to be inspired, and I don't know what to do with it, right? And when you see this, guess what? There'll be something of you that will say, I will do, right? As Rihanna, your mind, you're replying me, so I'll show you what I'm made of. But you won't do. Right? And my philosophy is any change that doesn't change what you do daily has not changed you. Until it can affect what you do consistently, you have not been changed. And that's why at the end of every new year, I don't have too many goals. But I try to do a couple of things that I keep consistent. I keep use that word. I stay consistent. I stay consistent with. Are you with me? So my first charge, I want to beg you in the name of Jesus. All of us are Christians, are we? Are we? Somebody here is born again. Great. Please do. Are you with me? You spend all of your time here. You spend all of. Yesterday I was not in Lagos. I had to come back for this program. Fact. By miracle. When Timothy called me, I knew it was a miracle because there was a session I was meant to have. I thought it was next week. So the organizers called me and they said, how far? He says last Saturday of the month. I said, last Saturday of the month? He said, that's the first now. He said, no. This is tomorrow's last Saturday of the month. So we have to come back for that event because I miscalculated that event. And then I asked them where's the venue of the event. They said it's at Berryland. So I just came, I did the event upstairs and came back downstairs. That's how I'm here. So I mean, so there's a couple of conversations I think I want us to really have within the next 10 minutes. That just may be important. He told me to speak on something, but I think I'll speak on something I think is more important. They told me I don't that. We should be deep like that. So I want to say, have a conversation with us on what I think is very important because you see, your life is a summation of your experiences, right? Experiences. And experiences shape expectations. Experiences shape. So I'm handling that amazing habit. Or experiences shape our exposure. And the bad thing about experiences is when you have an experience, pay attention. What an experience does, an experience is a validation of a mindset that we have. Are you with me? Let me give you an example. If I do believe that Timothy is a very angry guy, are you with me? And then I could just have that as a line of thought. But the moment I encounter Timothy and he shows me one or two, what happens? Then I have experienced him, and so my line of thought around him and outwards are now validated. The problem with life is that this is how life works. We don't see the world. I'm going to show you a couple of things I think is really important and it will transform your life. Can I just use my voice? I'm very tired. You can see me. I'm full of now. So the one is I'm not finished. I said, please, I'm not in the car. He said, because I have another next week. I'm still in. And if I go to that next week and they don't serve me food, probably will deal. It's not like I'm fasting. He said, in this week, I said, I'll fly back in. So we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And this is where it all starts from. I want us to have this conversation. Pay attention. We don't see the world as it is. We think we see the world as it is. However, the real thing is that we see the world as we are. Because what our experiences do is our experiences supply us a lens by which we use to interpret life. Our interpretation of life then becomes the way we interact with life. And the interaction that we have with life determines the results that we get from life. Does that make sense? Alright? It's very important. And so many times, when we want to get different results, many people try to change what life does to them. But really what you need to change is how you interpret what life does to you. Because until that interpretation gets upgraded, what happens is, because let me tell you the truth, life is not going to get better. Are you people aware? Are you people aware? It's not going to get better. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and he was quite upset at the rate of rent in Lagos. And he said, government should regulate it. I said, I've not seen anything. I'm supposed to start paying rent monthly, but I've not started. Because in the UK, there's a way somebody's rent monthly is your entire net worth. You're wondering what you are doing here. Alright? And that's why life is not going to get better. It's your life that is going to get better. Are you with me? And your life getting better is not going to happen if you do not get better. A part of the upgrade that has to happen in your life is the lens by which you interpret the events that happen to you are more important than the events themselves. And so I'll tell people what happens to you is not as important as what you think happened to you. Do you hear what I'm saying? What happened to you is what is not as important as what you think happened to you. And so the story about life that is playing in your head is the most important story. And that story is one of the most transformative stories that need to happen in your life. And I think I'm going to dwell on that and zoom in. Because a lot of you, stuff has happened to you. Bad stuff has happened to you. And I was having a conversation, we had a session around Monday Wednesday nights. And I was telling them, I said, look, even biblically, there's no assurance that good things will happen to you. Are you aware? The assurance is that all things will work together for your good, not that all things will be good. Are you with me? And the definition of good is with respect to your time frame. And that's why, it's a Christian guy like, tell me, remember your time frame. Your understanding of good is warped. It's the time frame that determines what we define as good. Let me give you an example. There was a war, I think it was a civil war in Nigeria. And there was a young man who was sick. So what used to happen in the war is, you don't enter your house, see you are able-bodied. You can't fight for your country. They see you don't look like, you have muscles. That's what we hear, you can't carry football. You can't carry football because you just be sitting there full of this thing. So listen, carry the guy, so the guy was sick. Now this guy didn't get healed, didn't get well, his spirits were quite concerned. Are you with me? Now, at that point, if you had a conversation with his parents, his parents could begin to question the goodness of God. Are you with me? It's God, no, wise man, I've tried all of this, and then I had faith and this. But something happened. One day, a soldier walked in, the soldiers to recruit, walked into the house, and they looked at the young man, and the young man was too sick, and they didn't take the young man. The moment they left, he began to recover. Are you aware that one day to that event, God can look like a bad God? One day after the event, God is a good God. Now you are grateful for sickness. Lord, I'm grateful. Where will I be if not for this sickness? Hallelujah, malaria. Because your time frame of good was limited, or his time frame of good was expanded. Are you with me? So many times you cannot define good until you have a time frame to work with. And many of you currently, what may be happening in your lives, what is happening? You are defining with the current time frame. And that's the problem. Are you with me? And one of the things you must learn, like I said, is, and I'm going to end with this, just one simple thing. You must learn to tell your story. Now, I think this, really from a really good point. Because like I said, what happens to you, and some of you know this thing, if you are ever fighting, you have a mother or a Nigerian mother, and you want to go and report somebody, there's a way you report the story that when they come, the other person comes to the they'll be shocked. You will not lie, but you just miss out certain vital details that could be advantageous to the other person, right? Exactly. You see that skill, you're going to need it a lot in life. Because, like I said, what happened to you is not as important as what you say happened to you. Are you with me? I'm going to give you one instance, or maybe two instances, one from the Bible. By the way, the Bible is very intelligent. Can you go away? I put something in my status. I said, forget the spiritual aspects. How many of you have read the Bible? You're like, oh, poetic God. You see, it's truly the word of God. Sometimes I look at the prayer of David, I say, God has to answer this prayer. You say some prayer. Before you form me the loins of I said, it don't want to go 2 seconds. God has to answer this prayer. So listen to me carefully. It's a story of a lady, and she had a younger brother, and before Jackpot was really what it was, right? It was like a Jackpot in like 2015, right? Where if you have like 7 million, you get out of the country. And so this guy finishes, and then he wants to go out of the country, and he's there are black sheep in the family. How many of you know black sheep in the family now? Some of you know them, some of you are them. We keep praying for you. The Lord's arm will reach you. So the black sheep in the family, everybody want him. Don't give this boy this money to go out of the country. But she just believed in her brother. Right? She collected money from her husband, collected money from her family members. I see this boy, he has track record of keeping his word. And the one is keeping, it's like, good boy. Not a problem. So we gave him the money, and then started the application. First month, second month, third month. This is not in the UK. They are seeing him in Nigeria. So she goes to meet him. And hello, Afa. As you are not in the UK, and you are here, I think the visa stuff didn't go through. No wahala. I hear us bring back the change, the old. And then the guy looks at her, and then he starts his statement with actually. How many of you know when somebody starts his statement with actually? To be honest, how you know they want to disrespect you is say respectfully speaking. Just know that they're about to clear you when they say respectfully speaking. Respectfully speaking before an insult does not make it respectfully speaking. Then they carry the guy. And then she says, actually, he took the money and then he invested it in Forex. See, that's who started? If somebody trades Forex, it's different from invested in Forex. Once you always say invested in money in Forex, those know that was a lot. If you even say I want to learn it, it's a different case. And all the money was gone. So man goes back home, meets her husband. This is why marriage is a very good conversation I cannot have. Now the husband looks at the wife and says, I told you not to take this money. No, I'm going to make you pay back every time of it. The question is he a good husband, is he a bad husband? Can you see why marriage is not a straight line? You wonder, right? Should he collect the money or should he not collect the money? I have zero knowledge on marriage. And you hear me say this thing publicly. I don't know zero jack. I don't teach about it. When we cut it so much short from context. And I said remove everything marriage. I don't know anything about that subject, please. People married today and the next thing you still have to stay married for 10 years. Wow. So they told her and she said, I'm going to make you pay back every day. It almost broke her marriage. She was furious. She was upset. By the way, let me say your market. This is Jones' photographer. How many of you know Jones? Yeah. Jones is a really, really good photographer, right? He follows me everywhere to take pictures. If you ever see a really good picture on my profile, it's by Jones. If you need a photographer, maybe they're about to propose to you, they're about to propose. Hallelujah. You will capture the moment. Please use Jones. Jones follows me everywhere I go. I say jokingly, if I'm going for rapture, Jones will take pictures and you see pictures. I promise you. And these pictures are really good. Right? So if you need anything, and I think I got Timothy 2 days ago to get Jones, it's really good. So please, you have family events. I also have a stake in his life. So you guys will give me some please use Jones, check in, it was always time. So that's what I was saying. The woman then looked at her husband, her marriage almost, because she couldn't believe it, everybody wondered, everybody was against her, but then she did something, she had to pay the husband. So the husband opened an account, she started paying the money back, every month. So she did this thing they call, I think, standing order, yeah. And then the first thing that she realized was that she could live within the remaining portion of her salary, all right? Because she was just always going to buy stuff. She didn't need to buy anything in the house. After a while, she finished paying because she had lived like that for maybe like 1 year, 2 years. She didn't bother to stop the automatic debit, and she was just there. And then she looked at it, the money in the account compiled. She thought to herself, oh, probably I could go and do a master's in something. From that money, we used it to fund the masters. And then she thought about it when she finished. She said, I really was able to manage my family, manage my husband, manage everybody. Probably I would be good at HR, human resource management. Took the money, went abroad. As we speak, she's earning, all the huge figures from being an HR. And at the time of having a conversation with this lady, she was still obsessed with her brother. So You know, my mother is one that tells the story. She says, look, I said, look, I don't believe in blaming people, but you have to blame people effectively. You have to go back to your brother. You have to thank him. Because if he was not stupid, you won't be in your job today. If he was not stupid, you won't have a master's. If he was not stupid, you won't have all that money that you have in the debit. But the reason why you are still upset and bitter about this guy is because the story you are telling yourself is that it's a terrible story. What if this guy was the guy that was going to activate you into being the HR group that you are? So go back and thank him, so that he knows the guy your father doesn't tell you. And that's it happening to many of us. Some of you here are going through situations, and it always marvels me. Like, ever sit down, and I would do this, I think I did this when we had a session. I said, if you tell me the story of Joseph, how much time do I have left, please? I have time left. Both of you to ask them. I have time left. 2 minutes? 5 minutes, good. Let me pick a random person to tell me the story of Joseph. Anybody? Story of Joseph in the Bible, quickly. Anybody? John, talk to me.
Very quick. So Joseph was the son of Jacob. One of the sons of Jacob was the.
You read Bible, you're mad.
Yeah. So he had a dream basically to survive. He had dreams, and then he told like the people he was possessed to, "This is my dream. This is what I'm going to accomplish." But out of jealousy, they sent him to. Egypt. They sold him to Egypt, right? And then in Egypt, he was still an opportunist, so he did some things for Pharaoh that he was under. But then Potiphar's wife now.
Hallelujah.
She now did that. So after that, he was bound to set in jail at the family. Yes. So finally, his story there was he was still an opportunist, and he was able to get some people to believe in God and change their life, I guess. Mount Somisha. And then one of them came out after some time, and then that was how he was able to come out. So God still works on him. Then when his brothers come, because there's a famine in their family house, they see him, and that's when the transformation happens. He forgives them, and they're able to escape the famine from their family.
See the story that you told about Joseph? Put it in my hand. How of you that's how you tell Joseph's story? I wish I had a screen showing you people. Do you know what Joseph said? The story you are telling yourself about Joseph is way different from the story Joseph told himself. I'm telling you, it's the Bible, Genesis. When they met Joseph, you know what Joseph said? He said, God sent me to save the world. The story you are telling is the story of suffering. The story Joseph is telling himself is that I'm Superman, and I keep to save all of you. Because what happened to you is not as important as what you say happened to you. The story you are telling yourself about the experiences are more important than the experiences. And you know what I'm saying? Right? They broke your heart. What if the Lord wanted to show you how consistent you can be with night calls? You were awake 9 to 12 for 2 years.
My God.
And then you broke up. It could be a revelation of your consistency. So let her go. Let him go. Look at him, say, let him go. You know what I'm saying? So you are angry with her, you are angry with him. Thank him or her for allowing him or her to be able to show you how consistent you can be. And your job, 9 to 12, replace it with studying. See how your life will move forward. Replace it with learning a skill. 6 months, you are earning money in dollars, and you take the person, if not for your breakfast. My life will not have been this fast. Right? That's how you have to think about life. You must always master how to tell the story in your favor. Anything that happens to you, stole your money, not a problem. Close down your business, not a problem. At least you know one way not to do it. Alright?
They stole your phone, right? Now, because they stole your phone, you didn't have a phone, you worked extremely hard to build a business, to do a job, to buy a new phone. Now you bought the phone, but the income from the business is still there. So that business would not have existed if the phone wasn't stolen. Nothing bad should stay as a story told in a bad way to you. Nothing. And that's the secret to life. The moment you can retell your story, what happens is, the moment that happens, it puts you in a state of gratitude. Gratitude doesn't change things, but gratitude puts you in a mental position that you can change things. And it's very important. You must learn gratitude. That's how you have to think about your life. So there's one nugget I want you could ask people that live quite close to me, as it stays with me. There's almost nothing bad that can happen to me. I'll find a way and explain it in a good way. I'll find a way and explain it in a good way. Right? One day I was at Eco Hotel and we had a session for like 2 days, 3 days there in the convention center. So I parked my car somewhere. But in the middle of the session, I had to move and come back. So I got to the car park where I parked before, and I didn't see my car. Some of you are price car lately. I mean that, but the guy said, don't sell your motto. Whatever you do in this life now, don't sell your motto. If your motto don't they walk, wash up like that. Everybody will tell you. I was able to have like a 5-star, I say 5-star, 5-story car park or 4-story. And I walked from the top to the bottom. And I didn't see my car. And I said, oh, well, no problem, it's gone, blah, blah, blah. And it was not because I had the money, but I knew that if I misplaced my car and I enter bus, you don't understand what it means to be training, somebody who facilitates training. Have you entered bus and your students will greet you? Facilitator. How to make it in life. You are the student, you enter the bus. Facilitator. Your session was powerful. It's the time I didn't know what to do with me. I'm not joking. I think it was last year or last 2 years. My car had issues, so I had to take bus. Right? And I'm not joking. Every time I take a bus, I'll see somebody that I know. And I cannot explain. See, I promise. I'm not leaving. It's not what you think. I just my pictures. I can't keep myself up there. Why am I saying this again? Like I said, what happens to you, it's not as important as what you want to say happened to you. You lost a family member, it's a painful experience. But what happened to you is not as important as what you say happened to you. I want to tell a story here, but it's not something I would really love to say publicly. Is this being strange? Yes. Please let me cut it. Yes, I need to come for this guy. Let's go for it. Alright.